listeners, my name is Shasta Garcia and I'm the host of Shasta's Journey. This show, if you have not seen it, is about my path to purpose, and along the way I get to meet so many incredible people with stories that can and will teach, heal, or inspire one of you out there. And your story has the power to do just that as well. Today's show, I will be interviewing Stacey Perkins. She has an amazing story. We're going to talk about finding faith. We're going to be talking about marriage and separation. We're going to be talking about long ties to Calaveras County and so much more. So sit back and be inspired. And I hope that you will go ahead and share your story as well at shastasjourney.com. And I look forward to reading that. So let's go ahead and get started and welcome Stacey. I just want to thank you so much for being here, Stacey, and for being a part of Shasta's Journey for as long as I remember.
Thank you for having me.
Since day one of Shasta's Journey, we've been coordinating back and forth?
Yes, we have.
Do you remember the first moment we started talking?
Yes, it is.
You do?
It's been a long journey, and it's been a great one, too.
It has, definitely. I think we started talking when you just came to Found Your Faith, right?
Yes.
Around that time. Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. My dad knew her when she was really, really, really young, so that kind of brings ties back to my life when she was starting her path to her purpose. So it's pretty awesome that she's able to sit here on the Shasta's Journey set today and be able to share her story with you all. So let's go ahead and take it back to basically childhood. So you just recently told me that you started school off here basically in West Point?
Back in the 6th grade, I went to West Point Elementary School for 6th grade. And so I don't remember much from my childhood, but I do remember that because we moved from the city of Newark to Calaveras County to the woods, basically. Had to take, the bus to school to where I used to be able to walk to school, in elementary school in Newark. So it was quite a different change of life.
Were your elementary school years pretty solid?
Yeah.
For the most part? Yeah. And then what happened after that? Where did you move to after that?
Well, we ended up going back to the same house that we moved out of in Newark. My mom still lives in the same house. She's been there for 43 years.
All right.
So we just went back to the same house. I was brought to.
Well, to give people a little bit of background information on you, can you just tell them a little bit about what you do currently?
Well, currently, I'm a recovering addict. And I have faith in the Lord. I trust in Him. I have almost 25 months clean off of drugs. And I'm very proud, and I thank the God up above that He's brought me here today to inspire and heal anybody else that is listening to my story.
How did you come to that moment in your life where you were ready to drop everything and give your life to God?
After 30 years of drug addiction, 2 marriages, loss of my 3 kids, the man that I date to this day has gotten clean with me. His aunt is the one that inspired me to put the drugs down and come clean. And since that day, December 23rd, 2 years ago, I haven't picked up since.
Wow. And so it was a total recovery.
Total turnaround. and I love my life as it is right now.
That's amazing.
Yep.
It really is. Sorry, guys, I actually am getting over a sickness too. So if I cough during this show, I'm really, really sorry because I feel it coming on. So in that moment, what else changed within your life?
One of my 3 children came back into my life. After losing them, it was out of my life for a good 15 years. I lost them to adoption. And my youngest son had came back into my life. And that was another reason I choose to set down my addiction.
I guess was destructive.
Yes, both my marriages were very destructive. My second one was abusive, destructive, and that marriage is where I took the turn for the worst is where I lost my kids at that point, and I chose my addiction over my kids.
Wow.
And failed marriage, second marriage at that time. So I just went heavily into my addiction and just ran full force with that.
And you actually currently have a relationship with your kids now?
Yes, I do. All three of my, well, two of my 3 kids I have relationships with.
Wow, okay. And are they Christians too?
Yes, as a matter of fact, my daughter, when I was pregnant with her, I went into a Christian drug program. And that's how I came up with her name, Krista. It's Christ with an A at the end of it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I came up with my daughter's name.
That's wonderful.
Because I do know the Lord back in my using days. So I've been in and out of drug programs, and I do know my faith in the Lord. I just wasn't living it. I knew about it. I just wasn't living it.
Gotcha. Yeah. So who's in your life that really supports you just like throughout your recovery and everything like that?
Facebook, for one. All my friends on Facebook, my family, my dad, my boyfriend, just my Aunt Donna. I'm addicted to Facebook now. So I've changed my addictions from drugs to Facebook. I gotta admit.
Doesn't that happen to all of us?
But I've got an addictive personality, and I'm okay with it because I feel Facebook is a lot more better for me than drugs. So
yeah, definitely.
And everybody that's on my Facebook are so supportive of my clean time and just my lifestyle that I'm living, and they just support me and give me, all the praise that I need and deserve.
Yeah. From last year, since it's a brand new year, how are you starting off the new year with like a fresh new mindset to kind of like spark your new year?
Well, these first 3 weeks have been sort of hard, considering I had my injury to my shoulder. Don't go ice skating at 43 years old, okay? For the first time. But I just keep faith. I always talk to God, and I know this show has been set up for a couple of weeks, and I've just been praying and looking forward to this. So I said I'm going on my 3rd year of recovery, so I just keep pushing forward and keep doing what I'm doing. I got a clean bill of health, and just keep moving forward because I know it can't get any worse than what I am right now.
Yeah, I think that God has definitely done a lot in your life. I can totally tell from our conversations and just what you're displaying right now. I'm really sorry about my coughing. I know it's all good though, because your story is going to cover all of that, and it's going to be great. So you said you just kind of came to Christ.
Yeah.
So there's no did you struggle with it at all?
I've known him before.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been born again, and like I said, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I went through a Christian drug program. I left the program, so I'm very familiar with what he can do. And what he has done. Mm-hmm. And since I decided to put the drugs down, I just totally turned to him as basically my drug. Mm-hmm. God is my drug now.
Aw.
So.
No, that's a great way to look at it. For somebody who is watching who is maybe doing drugs right now or who is struggling with putting those down, what is some advice that you would like to give them?
It's just really, it's not worth it. Just look up to him and ask him for your guidance. The amount of effort that you put into that high and looking for your next hit, put into seeking him. Say a prayer every time you want to take a hit. Turn to God and ask him for help, because he never leaves your side.
That's so true.
He was there for me every time I was getting high. He didn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. So when I decided to put it down, I decided to look up to him and thank him every time.
I know everybody has their own addictions. Some people, obviously, yours was drugs, but other people have other addictions.
Yeah, mine definitely was drugs. But now my addiction is Facebook.
But at the same time, that brings you closer to other people.
Yes, and I got to see a lot of your shows on Facebook too.
Yeah.
That's what brought me a lot closer to you, and that's how you've inspired me so much, by watching a lot of your shows and episodes and just getting to know you.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel horrible about coughing. I really, really do.
Hey, I understand.
It's just hot. I don't even know why it's happening to me. But it's okay. It's all good.
It's how God wants it to work.
I guess so. I guess it's just something that you just have to go with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're looking forward to? Has God showed you anything that you're going to be doing throughout this year?
If he has, I haven't seen it yet. But I do know I'm still working on my health because I do have some health issues since I've gotten clean. I've started having seizures. So right now I'm just focusing more on my health and getting my health back. And that's basically what I'm focusing on right now because I don't want to lose my health, that's for sure. And I'm just trying to get it back to where it was before I started using.
Yeah. How has God been using just kind of what you've been through to help you to be a part in other people's lives? Like, have you been able to use your recovery just on a daily basis?
Well, I try to share, like every month when my clean date comes along, I'll put a post out, oh yeah, it's this many months today, and I always celebrate my clean date every month. It's not like a yearly thing, like your regular birth date, but
yeah.
I celebrate it, on that date, the 23rd of every month, I celebrate it, and that day is the day that I say extra prayers to the Lord and thank Him for waking me up and getting me clean and having the support group that I have in my life, and to be able to acknowledge that, to know that, I am thankful and I do have a life to live.
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah. And what other changes have you been through since you got out of the relationship? You got out of the relationship, you stopped drugs, and what other things has God pulled you away from?
He's also pulled me away from my career. I was a 15-year tow truck driver.
Oh, wow.
So I can't be driving a big flatbed tow truck if you're having seizures. So he's taken me away from my career, but that is also, per se, that's what, I did a lot of drugs while I was in my occupation, not proud to say, but so that's why I think he's pulling me away from that occupation. Don't know what he's going to put me in my next occupation or what he's going to do, but he's pulled me away from that because there's it's a trigger for me. So I'm not going to go back into a tow truck. So that was hard for me because tow trucking was my life. I slept, everything in a tow truck. And it's been pretty hard for me, but I know that God has another path for me to...
Definitely.
So.
I know recently he just showed me that missionary stuff is going to be what I'm going to be doing in the future. Mm-hmm. So that was really exciting. So I know that he'll definitely show you at some point, and you'll know exactly why you're there.
I'm not rushing it, too. I'm being calm and waiting and sitting back, because everything happens at his time, not at my time.
I know.
And I know that, and it was hard for me to accept, but now that I have much more clean time, it's easier for me to accept that things will happen at his time, not mine.
Yeah, like this coughing attack. Just saying. So how has God used you within your family? Like, is there other people in your family that are Christians or who are dealing with drug addiction still, maybe?
Actually, the family that I choose to keep close to me are very into the Lord, and the family that I choose not to be in are not with the Lord. So, and like I said, my family, they support me in every which way I can. And if they see that I'm not making the right choice, or they don't like, if it's something that I say, like if I want to change my hair color, they'll tell me, oh no, that's not a good thing. And I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll sit there and I'll listen to what they have to say, and they say, oh no, I'm going to do it anyways because that's what I want. Mm-hmm. So I have a very good family.
Yeah. Have you been able to find any passion since you have stopped being a truck driver?
Not yet. Like I said, I feel that there is something out there for me, but God just hasn't put it in my path yet. Mm-hmm. Because I am having not quite a few, but I am having a lot of issues, health issues that I need to address first. Mm-hmm. So I need to get my seizures, down pat, so I'm not at work and I have an issues. So I think we're still addressing, my health issues first before he puts something else in my path to move on with my occupation or my workflow.
If you don't mind me asking, when did the drug addiction start?
When I was 11 years old.
You were 11 years old?
Yeah.
Do you remember, how you got into that?
Yes, I do. And it's not something that I really like to bring up, but it was a childhood nightmare, and it carried on into my teenage life. And I turned to drugs because my mom wasn't there for me. But I got over that, and I'm clean now. I got over that hump in the road. Got over my addiction. I'm living a great life.
Yeah.
I've got God in my life, and I'm just living one day at a time.
That's all you can do. So I've learned. There's not enough time in the day sometimes. You know what? God gave us 24 hours for a reason, because we're only capable of finishing so much. So
even though the days seem to go on and on and on, there's more than 24 hours in a day, but that's all there is 24 hours.
Seriously, it's so true.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you do to kind of get closer to God? I know that I've been listening to audiobooks and stuff like that, just about how living your life to worship God and just how people do that, differently. So, is there a particular way that you're able to live your life out for God?
I haven't really focused on that too much. The only thing that I have with God is when I pray to Him. We just found a new church in the city that I live in, Fairfield, and I've been wanting to go there, but not having a vehicle or a ride there sort of holds me back some. But I go to their website, and I'm able to see their their services on Sunday. We've been going for the past 2 years on Christmas Eve. So, but I do plan on going regularly on Sunday services to this church that we just found.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to find a church family like that. It's really, really great. And I know God's going to do some great things in and through you, and it's going to be amazing. It truly is.
I'm feeling, like I said, it's going to be at His time, not at mine. Because I know I've been very selfish in my life, because, it wasn't me living, it was the drugs living. And now that I'm living my life for me, I got to wait for God to put it in front of me and open that door for me to go through.
Mm-hmm. And since you've given your life to God and given up just your childhood addictions and those struggles, obviously He's done quite a bit for you.
Yes, He has.
I know I was kind of in communication with you when you basically got reunited with your kids, and you were just experiencing kind of being a mom again and truly, feeling that feeling. Put yourself back in that shoes, being recovered, having your life kind of starting, all the puzzle pieces coming back together, the picture is starting to become clearer. How did that feel?
As a matter of fact, my daughter, Krista, she moved back up here from Santa Maria. She was raised in Santa Maria. She came back up here. She was living with my boyfriend and I. And I actually felt like my mothering duty was done because she was living with us. She ended up getting 2 jobs, going out, getting her own place. And then her career had brought her back down to Santa Maria. But as a mother, for me, I felt like my motherly duties, even though it was only in 8 months' time, she still lived with me. I went and got her out on her own, into her own place, got her car and everything. But her career brought her back down to Santa Maria. So it hurt me a little bit, but I still feel like my duties were taken care of as a mother. So I raised my child, got her out on her own and everything, even though it was in a short 8 months' time, but I still feel like I did, my part. Even though I wasn't able to do it with her as a baby, I did it for her as an adult child.
That still means an incredible amount. I mean, God definitely probably gave you that moment so you can experience that and feel that feelings, because a lot of parents don't get that.
Yeah.
A lot of parents don't get to have those moments to kind of, make up for lost time.
Yeah.
And what do you have to say for parents? Because, I mean, parents with kids, I know there is like the numbers in the United States is just absolutely insane, but just parents who are, you know, struggling with those addictions. I know, I mean, even like my dad, like he's still struggling with alcohol. You know, everybody has their own struggles and addictions, and sometimes that gets in the way of parenting. Do you have any advice or words to say for parents who are kind of in that path right now?
I know what I have to say for myself is I wish I would have put my kids first. And because that's what I do now is I put my kids first. And back then when I was heavy in my addiction, I put the drug first. And that drug's not going to love you like your kids love you. Mm-mm. Okay? That drug may give you the high, but the love from your child is even a better high.
Mm-hmm. And the love from God is even higher than that.
Sure is. So that's really the only thing that I could say is, you know, your kids need parents, not just visitors. Mm-hmm. And that's what was told to me in my life when I would just stop in and see my kids every now and then. And they told me that your kids need parents, not visitors. So you need to be there for your kids. Mm-hmm. Be there for my kids, because I wasn't even there for me.
Yeah.
So it was hard. Like I said, I struggled for 30 plus years of my addiction.
Wow.
And it was hard, but like I said, I'm free of that addiction. Mm-hmm. And I feel really good as a person, as a mother, as a girlfriend, as a friend, mm-hmm. you know, coworker, everything. I feel like I'm a whole person now.
Yeah, I mean, you're here and you're telling your story, so that definitely means something.
Yep.
I don't know too much about kind of what happens physiologically, like with drugs, but do you remember a lot of like kind of things that you went through while being on drugs?
Yeah, I just wanted to do anything and everything to get that high.
Yeah.
You know, really high risk sexual partners was, you know, that was the worst thing for me, and I'm proud to say that, you know, I'm faithful with one man now, and he's the one for me, and you know, it's addiction is a high risk to life itself. Mm-hmm. You know, it could be that hit, or it could be, you know, your life. And I decided I didn't want that hit no more. I wanted my life. Mm-hmm. And that's the path I went, was down my life. And I have a life now.
You do. How have you been so stable and like not depressed throughout those trials and tribulations and through your recovery process?
I still struggle with depression. Mm-hmm. It's just that I've gotten really familiar with my comfort zone, and I stay in my comfort zone, which I know isn't a good thing either, but I'm safe there, and I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. You know, I've got a good home, I've got a good old man, you know, I've got God to look up to and call on at any given time that I feel weak.
Yeah, right by your side.
And, you know, it's just, that's what I do. Mm-hmm. You know, and I've got plenty of people that I could just call and pick up my phone, hey, you know, so I reach out to my family, mm-hmm. to my loved ones, near or far, and I don't have no problems telling them, hey, you know, I'm not feeling too well today. I'm really emotional, you know, and they don't have no problem sitting there on the phone with me and talking me through, you know, my problems that I'm having that day. Mm-hmm.
I think it's like really important, like looking on the new year. I mean, every day we should be thanking God for everything that He does in our mm-hmm. life, but what are some things specifically that you just feel really blessed for, that God has just done for you, maybe in this last year or within these last few months?
One thing that I'm really blessed for is my boyfriend and my dad, mm-hmm. and just my kids, my daughter. She's been a big blessing to me. Because being in a tow truck, you know, usually you're in jeans and a T-shirt, you're really dirty and grungy all the time. And since my daughter came into my life, she's gotten me to be more girly girl, you know, just the girl clothes and everything. And it makes me feel really good about myself because I look cute in these little girl clothes and everything. And So those have been the best blessings of my life in the past 2 years since I've been clean. Because I was never into girly girl stuff, and I am now.
Right where God wanted you to be. Well, I want you to know that you are a masterpiece of God, because, you know, each and every one of us, you know, holds an importance, and, you know, he made you just the way you are. So I just think it's really amazing. You know, not a lot of people get that full, like, turnaround away from drugs. You know, a lot of people, you know, go back and forth, but I think it's really amazing that, you know, as soon as you finally gave your life to God, it was just like, I got you.
I was done.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I just want to kind of wrap up this show. We're already down to 2 minutes, which is insane. Usually it's like crazy. But just kind of like wrap up just kind of like the main points throughout the show that you would want people to just kind of like remember and stick with. I mean, from recovering to finding faith to...
Don't pick up and trust in God.
Don't pick up and trust in God. Yeah. All right. That is like the new... that's going to be like the title for this show.
New slogan.
Don't pick up and trust in God.
Yeah.
But don't pick up could, you know, be anything. It could be a phone, because we are all distracted by our cell phones and whatnot. It could be don't pick up that next cigarette. Go back inside and spend time with your kids. Go and pray. What else? It could be a lot of things.
Anything.
It really could. So, yeah, this show, you know, don't pick up and trust in God.
Yep.
I think... Stacey really put it into perspective for all of you. Do you have any Bible verses that you would like to share?
Not offhand that I could think of.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's all good. So I hope to kind of get an update video or something within the next few months, especially if God shows you like what he wants your purpose to be, which I'm like super excited about, because Shasta's journey isn't only for people who know their purpose, because I don't even really know my purpose yet. So like, it's all about finding that, you know what I mean? You know, finding your purpose, and that's what life's about. You know, God will show you in his timing. So it's pretty perfect. And I want to thank you so much for being a part of Shasta's journey and supporting me. And I want to thank you guys for sticking around and sitting back and being inspired and dealing with my coughing attacks. I highly appreciate it. And I hope that you were taught, healed, or inspired by Stacey. And I hope you go share your story at www.shastasjourney.com. Look us up on Facebook at Shasta's Journey. Also go on YouTube and watch other episodes. And